Hello my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that I've been given the pleasure to welcome you to my channel, I'm Vanessa and I, and welcome to the fam. So you guys, don't worry, we're not yet within the readings. I just wanted to show you guys the setup of today's reading before we get into it. So in today's reading, I'm going to intuitively be choosing 6 tarot cards for you, then 5 crystal cards and 5 animal spirit cards, so that you have a really dynamic and colorful mixture of what is going on during this season for you. So in order to help you learn more about your life and what's coming up for you during Libra season, I have prepared 4 groups that you can choose from. So the 4 groups are as follows. We have the Aquamarine, we have the Aragonite, we have the Rose Quartz, as well as the Amethyst. So the timestamps will be linked down below, so feel free to fast forward your reading by clicking your corresponding timestamp. And if you feel like you need a minute just to meditate on the 4 different possibilities, then feel free to pause the video right here in order to meditate on the 4 stones. And as usual, you guys, I just wanted to let you know that you can feel drawn to multiple groups. So if that is the case for you, then know that you may need a little more guidance during this period of time, and you may want to tune into more than just one reading, so multiple readings, which is completely fine. So if you enjoy your reading and find it insightful, helpful, maybe motivational, make sure that you subscribe to my channel to see future videos. And if you liked it, make sure that you let me know down in the comment section. But yeah, you guys, I don't want to spend so much time in the intro. I want to get straight into the readings, and I'm going to be starting off with the first group, which corresponds to the Aquamarine. Okay, so group number 1, you chose the Aquamarine. So I want to move straight into your reading about your Libra season during 2019. So right off the bat, we have the 3 of Cups. So I see a celebratory time. I see a time where you will be able to focus on fun, where you will be able to focus on having a good time and just really, living your best life, celebrating. Maybe it's someone's birthday, maybe it's your birthday, but either way, I see that you will be able to let loose a little, which is something that you may have needed for a while. So let me just make sure here that we're all focused. Then we have the High Priestess. So in the High Priestess, I see that a time is needed where you nurture yourself, where you're also kind of looking into your emotions and making sure that self-care is a priority. So I see in Libra season also a very fertile time. If that is something that you've been looking out for, or something that you want to make use of, or you want to be aware of, then know that you're going to have a very fertile time during this season, group number 1. So whatever that means for you, take the necessary repercussions. So then we have the Tower. So one thing that I see for you, group number 1, in the Tower, is the fact that something is going to come to an end, and I want you to know that there's no point clinging on to something, be it a friendship or just a situation in general that is kind of overdue to just be over with, so to say. So if you know that there's a friendship or something that you need to do, or you should have done a long time ago, just get it done. There's no point in procrastinating, as I see in the Tower, that will only lead to things sort of falling apart and crumbling in the worst way. If, for instance, taking care of yourself is long overdue, as I see in the High Priestess, then start right now. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then obviously things can start to crumble. Things can inevitably get worse. So make sure that you focus on the part where you celebrate, where you have a good time, and where you let loose a little, because I see that things may be a little tense for you. In the 2 of Pentacles, we have a balancing act. And this balancing act is going to maybe take a lot out of you, but either way, I see that you're doing this very competently. And since it has to do with the earthly realms, I feel like you may be balancing your work life, your home life, your health, all of those things that you're juggling, trying to sort of maintain as best possible. And it may strain you, but at the same time, it's going to teach you new forms of discipline. It's going to teach you new strengths and have you sort of discover the fact that you're probably a lot more disciplined and strong than you ever knew. So then we have the 10 of Pentacles. So group number 1, in the 10 of Pentacles, I want you to know that it is time during Libra season for you to look forward. I see that a earthly endeavor is now like completed. You can now sort of harvest the fruits that you've been growing for a prolonged amount of time, and you can really just, start looking into the future. It's the end of an old cycle in the earthly realms. Maybe there's something that you've been needing to do for a long time, like for instance, looking into a new job or starting a new business venture, maybe opening up another bank account where you can just save money. And I see that it's time for a new, more mature kind of chapter, okay? That is one thing that I feel within your reading. I see Libra season having a lot to do with maturing, especially, in the Tower. You don't really have time for procrastinating anymore. You don't have time to be telling yourself that you'll do things, but then not really do them, if you know what I mean. So I definitely feel like balancing things is going to take on a new meaning in your life, and it's going to be a lot easier than you ever thought that it would be, because sometimes things can be intimidating. So we have 2 cards here that flipped over, so I always see that as a sign. So instead of 6 cards in your first row, we're going to do 7. We have the Fool as well as the 2 of Swords. So let me just rearrange for you so that we can see what is going on here. So in the 2 of Swords, I see that decisions are going to have to be made during Libra season, and I'm not 100% sure if you are happy making these decisions. I'm not 100% sure if these are the decisions that have to do with the Tower, that have been causing you stress, mental anguish, just a situation where you feel like you really do not want to make this decision. You really do not want to let go of what you know you inevitably need to let go of. But in the Fool, I see a new beginning ahead. So Libra season is a fresh start for you. Libra season, if you let go of what needs to be let go of, is going to come with a lot of energy where you go into things without knowing exactly what you're doing. But often the Fool's energy is the best energy, because when you're not going into things scared, as you can see, the Fool is not scared, okay? The Fool has a blindfold around her eyes, and there's a snake here, but she's unaware of the danger that she's in. And that is one thing that I see in the Fool energy that is actually really amazing energy, because you don't know what you're doing wrong, because you don't know what you don't know. You're starting something new, and you're just basically figuring out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. So let go of the old, allow yourself to start the new chapter, because often going into things without knowing what you're doing, without really having any idea of how to do it the right way, will allow you to discover your own way. And your own way is often the best way, because it is tailored to your needs and your capabilities. So let's move further into your reading. I'm now going to be using the crystal cards for you. So let's figure out what your crystals are trying to say. So first off, we have the lapis lazuli. So one thing that I want you to know is that during Libra season, you will have sort of like an epiphany. You will have a situation where your life will change, and this situation does not have to be a situation that is negative. This can be an epiphany where you come to realize that, okay, I had to let go of this friendship. I had to let go of this job, of this belief, of this old mindset that no longer serves me, because moving forward with a fresh new outlook is always the best. It's always the healthiest. It leaves you in a place where you feel content, so to say. And in the Untitled, one thing that I see is that your prayers will be answered. I see good fortune coming for you during Libra season. I see a time where all of your greatest wishes, you're going to come closer to them, and you're going to do so in a way where you truly realize that your actions have had an effect, a positive effect on your life. So if you're struggling with work, if things are hectic, know that just balancing everything, juggling everything for this period of time will come with fruits of your labor, so to say. You will be rewarded. So stay strong, group number 1. So then we have the Aquamarine. So you chose the Aquamarine within your reading, and then we have the Aquamarine within your crystals again. I see that during Libra season for you, group number 1, your divine life purpose is at the forefront. It is something that is going to be sort of like the focus, and you're going to be sort of practicing what is your divine life purpose. So if you feel like you don't know what your life purpose is, I see you coming closer to it. If you know exactly that you were meant to do something in this world, to help others, to heal others, maybe to help animals, to be there for those who cannot protect or provide for themselves, I see you having time to really create more within that field of you, to really widen your spectrum of possibilities and widen your spectrum of abilities. So if you, for instance, always wanted to help out the elderly, if you've always wanted to help out animals or children in need, I see that there will be opportunity here for you to actively engage in that purpose of yours. So that is something really beautiful, and I don't want you to miss out on it. So keep your eyes open for those situations, because oftentimes they can be overlooked. So moving further into reading, we have the Jade. Wellness and recovery, recharging, recreation. That is one thing that you have to focus on, and recreation for you during Libra season definitely has to do with spending time with other people. So if you're more of a loner, if you're more of somebody who likes to spend time alone, know that during Libra season you won't feel so drained being around people, because you will be around the right people. You will be around people who make you feel good and who make you feel like you're in the right spot. I feel like you're only going to be drained if you're around people who stress you out, or where you feel like it's hard to talk to them. So one vibe that I get from you is that small talk is not your strength. You're not somebody who particularly likes to just talk about nonsensical things. You're somebody who likes in-depth conversation. You're someone who likes to talk about life and life's great mysteries, and just having those conversations with another human being, I see, is going to bring you closer to realizing, you know, what you truly want to be doing for the rest of your life, or at least for the next chapter of your life. And it will also make you feel really good about yourself, because wellness is something that has many shapes and forms. Sometimes you need wellness as in, you know, taking a bubble bath or spending time by yourself, going on a hike. Sometimes wellness, recovering, recharging can be with other people, giving you new ideas, giving you a fresh outlook, and just fresh inspiration. So don't allow yourself to be too narrow-minded when it comes to wellness. Last but not least, with your crystal cards, we have the smoky quartz. So the smoky quartz is a protective stone. The smoky quartz is a stone that helps you clear out negativity and helps banish it. So I definitely feel like for you, group number 1, clearing out negativity is something that is essential during Libra season. So maybe you've acquired a lot of negative vibes during these past few months, or just this year in general has been a tough year, and may have put sort of negative preconceived notions within yourself and your belief system. So know that we act more out of our subconscious rather than out of, you know, our mind that is actually active, that is actually present. So know that if you subconsciously have bad feelings or thoughts about yourself, that will transpire with every action, with every word that you say. So building up a more positive outlook when it comes to you and the person that you are can truly help you lead a happier life, a more fulfilled life, because you will now be doing everything with more love subconsciously. So train your subconscious mind. Moving into your spirit animals, we have the dolphin spirit. So group number 1, I want you to know in the dolphin spirit that things don't have to be so black and white. So there may be a situation that arises during Libra season where you're like, oh my God, no, why did this happen to me? I didn't want this to occur. I had a plan for myself and now it is disrupted. But I want you to know that there are many different ways how things can still work out for the better, and that just because one thing ended up happening doesn't mean another possibility is now out of the question. You know what I mean? So if you, for instance, have always wanted to find love and now you've been hurt, you've been in a situation where somebody told you that maybe they don't want to be with you, they don't want to commit, that doesn't mean that nobody else wants to commit. That doesn't mean that you're less desirable or that there isn't other opportunity there. If one door closes, another opens. And also, you know, if one door closes, maybe a window opens. Maybe it's something completely different that you didn't even think was a possibility for you to take advantage of. So moving further into your reading, we have the butterfly spirit. So there is transformation happening, and I feel like you have to try and transcend seamlessly between the earthly plane as well as the spiritual plane. By that, I mean you making time for spirituality, but also keep in mind that the real world, things that happen in our daily lives, they're inevitable, they're going to happen, we're going to have to deal with them, and one doesn't cancel out the other, as we spoke about here in the dolphin spirit. Just because one is a certain way, it doesn't mean that the other has to be the same, or it doesn't have to mean that the other is non-existent. I want you to focus on just sort of transforming yourself within these two different planes. So in the earthly plane, transform your thought process, as well as in the spiritual plane, come to a place where you're content with the now, come to a place where you make decisions more intuitively, and where not having all the information that you want or felt like you needed is essential before you can move forward. Because, you know, life is happening now, so live now, make decisions now. Don't sort of banish things to later. Then in the deer spirit, one thing that I see is that you have to be very gentle with yourself. The deer is a very elegant, dainty, and kind of an animal where you feel like it may be a little brittle at heart. That is one thing that I see for you, group number one. You may feel a little hurt during Libra season if people do not bring a gentle touch, and you may hurt yourself really easily if you don't allow yourself to feel good, if you don't allow yourself to tell yourself, hey, I'm like an amazing person, I'm beautiful. So don't deny yourself of that self-love and that gentle approach to yourself, your life, and your divine purpose. So then we have the giraffe spirit. So I definitely want you to see things from a higher perspective, from a bigger picture. I feel like maybe you've been seeing things in a very narrow sort of light, in a very narrow circumstance, and that is why the giraffe spirit has showed up in your reading, because it is time now for you to make sure that you take steps back before you make those decisions. So obviously, don't overthink, make them intuitively, as we have in the Two of Swords, but don't freak out about it. And if you need to, take a step back just so you can think long term, just so you can think to yourself, okay, well, how is this decision going to affect me a year, 5 years from now? If it's going to have a big effect on your life, obviously give it a little more time. But if you know that this decision that you're freaking out about is already not going to have an effect on your life a day, a week from now, then don't sweat it, don't stress about it. So last but not least, within your reading, we have the rabbit spirit. So this just confirms that it's a very fertile time for you. This is a time where there is, in fact, serendipity within your life. And the rabbit spirit is also just a spirit animal that shows a lot about you and what kind of mood you're in. So the mood that I see for you during Libra season, non-confrontational, peaceful. You want to mind your own business and do what is important to you. And that is an amazing place to be in. That is a place where you can potentially get so much done, group number one. So allow yourself to immerse in that mood. Allow yourself to be deep in thought, to be deep in whatever it is that you are trying to work on and trying to further your knowledge in, and just have like an amazing time. Make sure that you celebrate. There's a reason why in your first position, we have the Three of Cups. The universe wants to let you know that it is time for you to just enjoy life, let loose, and do whatever it is that you've always wanted to do. So group number one, that is the reading that I received for you. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. And let me know down in the comment section if you like having such a insightful reading, such a reading that is full of details and little tidbits. And yeah, I hope that you have an amazing day or night wherever you are in this world, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello group number 2 and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Aragonite. So group number 2, I want to figure out right away what is going on in Libra season with you. So you chose the Aragonite and the first card within your reading is death. So I definitely see that something is coming to an end, group number 2. I see that it is time for a really big new chapter within your life. The old chapter is sort of really done with. It's inevitable that things are going to be starting afresh. So I don't want you to freak out about this card. This card does not literally mean death. This card is actually known for a positive connotation. As you can see, the sun is coming up and it's just sort of letting go of old hurt, letting go of old things that do not serve you anymore. So you're going to be forced to let go, even if it hurts. As you can see, we got some tears here. So letting go means new possibility. Keep that in mind, and yeah, let's get straight into your reading. So we have the 10 of Pentacles. So group number 2, we have a time of completion. I see in the earthly planes, you're going to have to move forward. 10 is completed. You're done with this chapter. You're moving forward. It just correlates really well with the death card that showed up in your reading. So let's move further into it. So we have the 8 of Wands, group number 2. So in the 8 of Wands, I see that channeling your creative side, more self-expression, is what is going to get you through Libra season. So Libra season may be a very emotional time because, as I said, this big sort of chapter is coming to an end and you may not know how to feel about it. But what I see would help you is to channel great new energy, fresh energy, through just creative endeavors as well as expressing yourself. So if you express yourself really well through drawing, singing, maybe just creating any sort of form of art, or what is art to you, make sure that you indulge in that a little more because it'll help you stress a lot less and get through this phase that may be a little confusing and a little difficult. So know in the 8 of Wands that this card correlates especially well with people who are just naturally artists or just people who are very creative. So if that is you, then this is actually going to be a very exciting time for you. And I see infinite possibility. That is what the 8 stands for. So moving further into reading, we have the Knight of Wands. In the Knight of Wands, I see fearlessness. I see basically going after what you know you need to go after in order to achieve your next goals. And I also see a time where there's sort of no doubting yourself. Okay, I feel more elevated sort of self-confidence. I see that you're going to feel like your purpose is what you want to go after and you're passionately going to go after it and not let anybody get in the way of what you need to get done. So then we have the 6 of Pentacles. So I see more sort of financial abundance coming towards you. I see maybe a gift of money, something that is of value to you coming into your life very easily. And the 6 is a card of cooperation. So if you're trying to channel more financial abundance into your life, if you want more money in your life, let's just put it that way, then think of how you can cooperate with other people during Libra season. Think of how you can make other people's lives easier in order to get that in return, because financial abundance, you first have to put out some sort of act of service. As you know, you have to work hard for money, for financial abundance, and it's not just going to come to you just by manifesting, by wishing that it'll come to you. You have to put in work, and you also have to provide some sort of value to other people or another human being. So focus on that, and I see more financial return than you may have ever expected. Then moving further into reading, we have the 9 of Wands. So I see a time where you may feel really tired and really over a situation. So in correlation to the Death card, I definitely want you to know that coming to an end of a cycle and knowing that it's inevitable for a new cycle in your life to begin during this Libra season may be emotionally draining and exhausting. It may leave you feeling just like this guy right here, kind of just broken, disheveled, and in need of rest. So don't deny yourself of rest Don't deny yourself of taking time to recharge, because you will need a lot of energy to fuel up these creative endeavors. You will need a lot of sort of headspace available to be able to see through these ideas into reality. Using the crystal cards, we have the Tiger's Eyes. One thing that I want you to know in the Tiger's Eye is that you can channel more self-confidence through spiritual confidence. So knowing that spirituality is, at the end of the day, the only thing that you need, the only thing that can truly nurture yourself and your soul, is something that will give you confidence like no other. It can be spirituality, it can be religion, whichever you prefer. I just want you to know that you can channel an immense amount of confidence during Libra season by just throwing yourself completely into those topics, by immersing yourself into spirituality, religion, whichever you prefer. My channel is all inclusive, so that is up to you. But in correlation to starting this new chapter, I see that allowing yourself to know that there are things like, for instance, the law of attraction, like there is stuff like manifestation out there that can help you accomplish goals and move further up in life, is what I see that will give you that confidence that you need to start off this new chapter and life cycle on the right foot. And I just want to let you know that, we have a lot of wands here, which leads me to think that there may be a fire sign involved, heavily involved within your life, or just fire sign kind of energy, because that kind of energy is very strong, is very fierce, and can also be a little bit hasty, if you will. I see a tendency to maybe make decisions a little too quickly without thinking them through. So allow time to think through decisions before you make them. Allow yourself to relax, take a deep breath, meditate on things before you move forward. Then we have the opal. So I want you to know, group number 2, that during Libra season, you have to allow yourself to live your best life and to sparkle and shine. It's so essential for you to wear that dress that's hanging in your closet that you've never worn before because you felt like you weren't confident enough, to put on that eyeshadow that you have that you felt was just too over the top, or to just wear that hairstyle that you've always dreamt of wearing. Dye your hair, do whatever it is that you've been wanting to do to up your game in the physical plane, because that will also up your game mentally, spiritually, because you'll feel better about yourself. You'll feel more confident about yourself, and you'll think, wow, if I can do this, then what else can I do? And I know it sounds like it's something really little and almost like insignificant, but just making yourself feel good, making yourself feel like attractive and like you're finally doing things that you've been putting off, is all of a sudden going to get the ball rolling on you, then initiating more things in this new chapter that you haven't had the courage to do prior. So here we have the amber, group number 2. So in the amber, I see a very passionate time. I see a time where you have to just give it up to the universe, even though you may want to act. So as I said, there is a tendency here, especially if you are of a fire sign, to act without thinking, to act prematurely. But allow yourself to give some decisions up to the universe and to tell yourself, if it's meant to be, then it will be, but I'm not going to force anything. I see that during this Libra season, you might be trying to force something in these new opportunities that are presenting themselves to you, but forcing it is just going to not benefit you at all. In the Azurite, I see a time of emotional healing. I see a time where it's possible for you to get rid of old trauma. So if you have old trauma from your childhood, I see that this is a great time for you to seek out help, maybe help from a therapist, or to speak to the person who has caused this emotional trauma or been a part of it. If you feel like you haven't had the strength to speak up about it in the past, or you've sort of just been too shy to talk about it, this is the time. Libra season is the time where you can come out of your shell and where this sort of emotional healing is needed, because starting a completely fresh cycle in your life and carrying old baggage with you is going to be a very lethal combination, is going to be a combination where there may be a lot of opportunity that you miss out on just because the confidence isn't there, as you're still using up a good amount of your headspace on this emotional healing that has not been done. So focus on making emotional healing a priority, and also focus on maybe putting more thought into your work, as I mentioned, instead of into your emotional plane, into your plane when it comes to communication, because we don't have any signs of that within your reading, which leads me to see that it's important for you to focus on the things that make you feel passionate, that make you feel like you're going somewhere, recharging when you need to, but don't allow yourself to get emotional about things, because that will just disrupt Libra season for you. So moving further into your reading, we have the Appetite. I see that focusing on progress, as I just mentioned, instead of perfection, is what is key here. So focus on progressing, on doing things that you know will get you further in life, further in your career, instead of trying to perfect them or trying to understand why every single thing has happened to you. So while we have to work through what is going on emotionally, I don't want that to be the sole focus. I don't want that to be where your heart and your head is 24/7, because it'll just be a distraction from starting off your new chapter on the right foot. So let's move further into your reading with some spirit animals, group number 2. Okay, so we have the koi fish spirit. One thing that I see for you during Libra season is a feeling of not being enough, of not having enough, of not being good enough, or maybe not having what it is that you desire within your life, because there's some sort of mindset of scarcity here. So if you're single, looking to be in a relationship, I want you to know that there is plenty fish in the sea. And if you are in a relationship, or you just feel like there's scarcity otherwise, or you're not enough, I want you to know, group number 2, that you are enough, that you are a beautiful human being. And there's no reason for you to feel that way, because feeling that way is literally just going to slow your roll. It's just going to put your emotions into a place where you may spiral downward. And as I said, don't allow yourself to focus on being emotional during Libra season. I see that that is just not a good idea for you. There's a time and place to be emotional and to focus on seeing through every single thing that you feel, but that is not Libra season for you, group number 2. Group number 2 for you, Libra season, is about healing and focusing on furthering your career and going after your passions. So we have the koala spirit. One thing that I want you to know is that your spirit guides and your spirit animals, everything has a plan, it has a place and a time, and it will happen when it is supposed to happen during Libra season. So don't force anything, because forcing things will just sort of put friction into the air, and that will make it a lot harder for a flow state to be achieved by the universe for your life. In the frog spirit, I want you to rather focus on clearing out clutter. So as we had in the azurite, that is emotional clutter. It can also be physical clutter. If you have, for instance, a lot of recycling, a lot of things that you've been wanting to donate for a long time, and they're just lying in the corner of your house, get rid of them already, group number 2. Stop telling yourself you'll do it. Actually write it into your journal, into your calendar, into your schedule. Set a reminder on your phone to go get it done, because when you actually make a date and a time to do it, that is when you're most likely to do it, because you've set a plan, you've made a schedule for it. Then in the Sandalwood spirit, don't take everything too seriously during Libra season. Be yourself, be fun, and if you have a really quirky, weird side, let that side out. I see that that side may have been slumbering for a very long time within you right now, and it's in need of coming out. So maybe life has just thrown some serious curveballs at you prior to this point. That is often the case when we have to go through this transformation and transition, and it can sometimes just take the life out of us and take the fun out of us. But rediscover that part of yourself during Libra season, especially as we're going towards the end of 2019. You just want to be in good spirits in order to start off the new year on the best possible foot. So try and give the rest of this year an amazing end, a very fun and quirky end. Last but not least, we have the crow spirit. So in the crow spirit, group number 2, I want you to know that you can co-create with the universe. You don't just have to let things happen. It's not like you have absolutely no effect on your life or no effect on what happens to you. You do have a say, and you can steer things in the direction that you want to steer them. So sometimes it can feel almost like you don't have any power over things, especially when things are going in a way that you did not desire them to go. That is when you can feel powerless, when you can feel like things are just happening to you. But group number 2, I want you to know that life is happening for you, and there's so much opportunity in the new cycle starting during Libra season for you that it would be a shame for you to not make use of it. So give yourself this benefit of the doubt that you can actually achieve what you've always wanted to achieve. Allow yourself to make the best out of Libra season, as I see that if you start this new cycle off on a right foot, there is endless potential here. There is a lot of potential for you to achieve new greatness, to just start this new cycle on a very high plane and to soar way, way, way up to where you've always wanted to go. So group number 2, I hope that you liked your reading. I hope that you found it insightful, and let me know down in the comment section if you did and what you liked most about it, what really hit home, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the rose quartz. So group number 3, I want to move straight into your reading to figure out exactly what is going on during Libra season within your life. So let's see what card showed up first and foremost in your reading. So we have the 3 of Pentacles. So this card showed up first in your reading because the universe wants you to know that Libra season is a time for you to collaborate. Libra season is a time where you're able to make real progress within your life if you just allow other people in and if you just take other people's advice. So obviously these other people should be people who you already have known for a while, who you know have your best interest at heart, and I see that they will give you amazing idea and insight over how you can move forward, as you may be in a rut, you may be in a position where you don't know what to do about a certain relationship within your life, and this advice is going to truly help you forward. Let's move further into your reading to figure out a little more. So we have the 10 of Cups. So there is emotional fulfillment here, okay? I see that talking to people, seeking out advice in maybe business matters, maybe matters of how you can be healthier or just in a better stage, that is one thing, but this emotional fulfillment is another. I see togetherness, being happy in the spot that you're in emotionally, and just being fulfilled within your relationships. This is a time that you should enjoy. This is a time that is really like a time that is one of a kind, so to say. So enjoy Libra season for all that it is, because your relationships are going to be going really well, and even if they're just platonic, even if it's just relationships within your family or your close friend circle, know that these relationships are invaluable. There's nobody that can replace these people, and just spending time with them, basking in light and joy, having this sacred connection, this love. And in correlation to the rose quartz, it's very clear that, you know, it's going to be a very loving time emotionally for you, is just a great sign, because being emotionally balanced is something that a lot of people will be struggling with during Libra season. But I see that you can take a lot of strength out of being with those who you love. So then we have the King of Cups. So group number 3, one thing that I see in the King of Cups, as we already had in the 10 of Cups, we have emotional security, okay? You're stable, you're mature. There's no harsh mood swings going on, okay? That is a thing of the past or of another season. I see that you have yourself under control, you know what's important, and your relationships are just what you're focused on working on. In the King of Pentacles, we have you're just rocking it during Libra season. King of Pentacles is one who has his earthly things in check, is one who knows what he's doing in the earthly realm. So be it financially, be it with health, be it just anything that is in the earthly plane. Time management, I see that you have that under control during Libra season, and you're now ready to give back. You're now ready to be here to help others, and you're somebody who is in a position of, say, authority. You're in a position that a lot of people envy during Libra season, and a lot of people wish that they were in. So if you're having any down days, keep that in mind. Remember that a lot of people wish that they were in your position. A lot of people wish that they had this King of Cups and King of Pentacles mentality during this time. And that is something to be grateful for and something to embrace. So don't let anything stifle this amazing time. Then we have the Knight of Wands, group number 3. So in the Knight of Wands, I see that getting things done, running a ton of errands, paying those bills that need to be paid, cleaning out things that have been lying around for a while. I see you doing that, committing to that, because you just overall feel this feeling where you know what you're doing. You're not questioning yourself during Libra season. You're at a place where your relationships are going amazing. You're looking to maybe add new relationships into your life, and just getting advice from those closest to you on how you can further your ventures is what will truly give you that little extra boost that you needed. So then we have the Six of Pentacles. So in the Six of Pentacles, I see extra money coming. I see good money flow, especially in correlation to the King of Pentacles. It's very clear that financial abundance is something that you're going to be struggling less with during Libra season. It's something that is going to come a lot easier to you. So if you can put in those extra hours or that extra work in order to obtain more financial freedom, do so, as your flow state financially is where it needs to be in order for as little friction to be there as possible for you to gain more financial freedom, more financial abundance. So I want to move further into your reading with some crystals. We have the peridot. So one thing that I see is that things are going to resurface. I see that lessons from the past are going to come up during Libra season, and you're going to realize why you had to learn the hard way in the past. You're going to realize exactly why those things happened to you and why they may have occurred, and you're going to use those lessons now during Libra season, which is what is going to make Libra season so much easier for you than say for other people that are struggling during this period of time. So get excited, group number 3. I love how your reading is turning out. So next up we have the watermelon tourmaline. So focusing on de-stressing, that is one thing that I see that will help you a lot. That is one thing that is essential. The watermelon tourmaline just shows me that you may have been really stressed up until this point in time. You may have been at a point in your life where you haven't focused so much on reducing stress just because you feel like, oh, well, I'm young, or I'm at an age where not sleeping very much or not focusing on my health is surely not going to have such a horrendous outcome. But I see that you're going to realize during Libra season that you have to start taking care of yourself now, be it, your internal function, be it, for instance, your skin, be it just yourself as a person mentally. Reducing stress is going to make sure that you also don't age prematurely, because the telomeres in our cells can get shorter and shorter, and they do not grow back. And when those telomeres are shortened because of stress, that is just damage that has been done that you are going to have to deal with at a later point in time. So not damaging yourself through stress is one thing that I see that will help you immensely during Libra season, and that you will learn to focus on a lot more. Then we have the fluorite. I see a lot of natural beauty coming from you, group number 3. I see that you're naturally very radiant during Libra season. So maybe you just connect to what is going on astrologically. Maybe you just connect because the people around you are just having a great time with you. You're just the kind of person who radiates love, who radiates good vibes during Libra season, and you're the one that people are going to come to celebrate and have a good time with. So this authenticity that you have during Libra season is one of a kind. It is one that you can make a lot of use of in the earthly planes, because if you want to start a new endeavor, or you have an important presentation that has to do with your studies, your work, this is a great time for you to schedule it in, or at least practice it, because you will just have this natural ability to make people believe in what you're saying, because it just feels authentic. But obviously do not use that for any monkey business, group number 3. Next off, we have the sapphire. So I feel like there's not very much friction during this time. As I already mentioned, it's an easy time for you. Libra season is a lot easier for you than for others. I see that a great balance can be achieved through just aligning your health, your happiness, as well as making sure that you have enough rest. And that will allow you to put out the best work possible. That will allow you to feel like you've never felt before. Embrace this, group number 3. Then we have the cellulite. So one thing that I see is that not pleasing people is something that you should focus on. Because things are going so great with your relationships, because things are going in a way where you're happy, where you're satisfied, you may try and please people a little more than usual, or you may try and be a little everywhere instead of just where it is essential for you to be. And it's always good to help other people and to try and be there for other people, but you do not want to spread yourself too thin, and you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're just emotionally exhausted. So that is one fear that I have for you, group number 3, because things are going so great and relationships are flowing, that you may spread yourself a little too thin. And that is just a trait of yours that is a good thing, shows that you're somebody who cares, naturally an empath, but at the same time, it can be dangerous when you're dealing with your mental capacity, because you don't want to spread yourself thin to the point where you feel like mentally you're just drained and you're not at a place where you have strength for yourself left. So moving into your spirit animals, we have the groundhog spirit. So there is something that has to be let go. The groundhog spirit tells me that there is something that has to do with your heart, something that is very close to your heart that you have to let go of. And I feel like even though things are going very well for you during Libra season, even though you're at a point where you're mature, where you know what you want, where you're emotionally stable, and also financially at a point where you're stable. This is maybe not where you've always wanted to be, but you're stable. Things are going better than expected. However, in the groundhog spirit, as I was touching upon, you have to let go of limiting beliefs. That is one thing that will make this 6 of Pentacles situation a lot less beneficial than it could be. So know that in the 6 of Pentacles, I see you receiving, I see through cooperating, through bringing other people into consideration, their opinions into consideration, you can succeed financially and gain a lot financially. But if you have self-limiting beliefs that we have to let go of, then obviously you're going to limit the amount of financial abundance that is able to come into your life. So if that is you, if that sounds like you, if you feel like you have self-limiting beliefs, you have to be working on that during Libra season. Then in the dolphin spirit, I definitely want you to know that just because you may have some self-limiting beliefs doesn't mean that, you know, your whole mental state, your whole mind is just not good. That is not the case whatsoever. Your mind can still be in a good place. You can still love yourself. You can still want the best for yourself and have self-limiting beliefs, because we all have fears and we all have strengths and weaknesses. That is just a reality, but that can make us insecure. But it's only human, and there's no reason for you to feel like because you have some self-limiting beliefs or a little bit of self-hate or self-doubt that everything is just not where it's supposed to be. That is false, group number 3. Know that you can still love yourself, even though, for instance, you're unsure about your looks, even though you want plastic surgery or to change your hair or to change something about yourself physically. That doesn't mean that you don't love yourself. Just as you not believing 100% that say you can make 500,000 in a year doesn't mean that you don't believe in yourself. Maybe right now you're not quite at 500,000. Maybe right now you believe you can do 200,000, and that's already great. So obviously those are just examples. I just want you to understand what I mean with the fact that duality, this and that being true, is something that can be the case. I just want you to understand exactly what I mean, group number 3. So moving further into your reading, we have the deer spirit. So as I already touched upon, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself. Don't judge yourself for thoughts that you have that are maybe not as kind. Don't judge yourself for maybe not always believing in yourself in every situation, or not having, you know, the perfect mindset or the perfect belief for positivity. It's completely fine. We all struggle with different things. We all have our own demons and just situations that we have to deal with. And that is what makes us human. That is why one person isn't better than another person. So moving further into your reading, we have the cat spirit. So claiming your independence is one thing that you have to hold on to, group number 3, spending a lot of time with friends, with family, making sure that you're celebrating, that you're part of festivities is great, but it can also make you a little less independent when you all of a sudden go from maybe not spending so much time with other people to spending a lot of time, and then when you have to go and do things by yourself again, you may feel a little insecure, or you may feel all of a sudden when the festivities are over, like you don't have friends, or like your family doesn't really care. You know, you can just get into that place where you feel emotionally a little bit alone. But I want you to know that being independent and being alone has a lot of value, and there's a lot in being alone that can give you time to reflect, that can give you time for personal growth. So see the value in that. Last but not least, we have the wasp spirit. So group number 3, I want you to take this with a grain of salt. Nonetheless, we have had an amazing reading for you, an amazing prediction for Libra season, but I still want you to be cautious. I still want you to know that if you're too cocky, if you're too sure of yourself and your situation, life can sting. Life can turn around and swat you down like a fly in order to humble you, in order to teach you to never take things for granted or to feel like you're owed certain things in life. So be careful as to where your mind wanders off when things are going well. Don't let yourself, overhyped. Don't let yourself get too comfortable in any situation. Always remain humble and grateful, and just enjoy this time during Libra season that is ahead for you, group number 3. So I truly hope that you enjoyed your reading. I hope that you found it insightful, maybe a little inspirational and motivational, and I will see you in one of my upcoming videos. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Amethyst, group number 4. So I want to move straight into your reading about what is going on within your life during Libra seasons. So let's see what card you ended up picking. So we have the Queen of Cups. So group number 4, the Queen of Cups, shows me that during Libra season, you're going to be at a point where you're very nurturing, where you're very caring, and there may be sort of like motherly feelings. So you may have that for somebody entering your life, somebody new entering your life that you feel very strongly about, or there could be, for instance, a birth, there could be kids around you where you feel like you have this motherly instinct, this protective instinct, this nurturing instinct. So this is something very beautiful. This is something a lot of people can really relate to, I'd say, because whether you have younger siblings, a pet in your life, or just somebody who is very important to you, you most likely care about them to a point where you're very protective, where you want to nurture them and want to make sure that they're in a good spot. So naturally empathetic, a natural empath. That is what I see during Libra season for you. But let's move further into your reading to figure out a little bit more about your Libra season and your state of mind. So we have the Star next up. So what I see for you, group number 4, within the Star is just obviously a lot more luck. I see a lot of magic happening. The Star is a card that is generally a very positive card. It generally indicates a lot of good fortune coming into your life. So be prepared for that during Libra season. And with be prepared, I mean focus on that as well. Don't get so immersed in taking care of other people that you forget about your needs. And if things have been tough up until this point, know that there is hope. That is something that the Star represents, hope, and just basically the ability, the capability to see the light at the end of the tunnel. So moving further into your reading, we have Death. One thing that I want you to know in Death, group number 4, is the fact that the sun will rise again, the sun will come up, and it is a time for you to leave things behind that no longer serve you. And that is all that Death is about. Death is about recreation. Death is about starting a new chapter and leaving the old behind. So let's see exactly in correlation to what Death stands. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. Have you been sort of worried about your finances lately? Have you sort of been stressing out about your time, maybe stressing out about how you can save money, how you can make more money. If that is you, then I want you to know that in correlation to death, you have to leave that mindset behind, because it is only putting blockages into your flow of abundance. It's only making it harder for you to focus on actually gaining money. If you're so focused on what is lacking, know that you won't be able to gain, because your focus is on lack, which then in turn will attract more lack thereof into your life. So this is a very sort of like scary thought. I know worry is something that is sometimes inevitable, especially when you're just trying to pay your bills and just trying to do life and things are tough. Sometimes you can be at a state where you're worried about things, where you felt like you were doing the right thing, but right now you're not where you've always wanted to be in life. So you're worried about the future. It's only natural, but don't allow that mindset to take over, because it'll just attract more of what you do not want to your life. So in the Page of Cups, I see a time where emotionally there can be a new beginning. You can move forward from that. I see in correlation to the Queen of Cups that this could also be a great time for romance. This is a great time during Libra season for you to get into a new relationship or to spruce up an existing romantic relationship. The Page of Cups tells me that, this sort of playful outlook on romance and love is exactly what you need, or maybe what you've been lacking. And just using that energy, using this vibrant new outlook will allow you to be a lot closer romantically to somebody, will allow you to understand them more and be more understood. Because when you've been in a certain mindset or had a certain preconceived notion for a long time, it can be hard to even realize that you've had these thoughts in your mind that may have been stopping you from having the best possible romantic life, the best possible emotional life. So open up to these possibilities, open up to a fresh start. Then we have the moon. So the moon in correlation to the star group number 4 is a very powerful combination. It is a combination where I feel like your zodiac sign is going to be supercharged by Libra season, is going to be at a point where you can make use of all the positive traits of your zodiac sign. You can make use of them because they're going to be so exaggerated, so clear that this is your zodiac sign. That, for instance, if you're a Taurus, you're super dependable. If you're a Cancerian, family is super important, nurturing others. And I want you to make use of this, and I want you to do everything intuitively the way it feels right to you, because your intuition is not going to lie during this period of time. But let's move further into your reading and bring some crystal oracle cards into the mix. So we have the Amethyst, which is really fun because you chose the Amethyst within your reading. So double Amethyst, group number 4. And in correlation to the rest of your reading, I want you to know that the Amethyst urges you to reveal your true self and to not hide any parts of it. So if you meet somebody new or you're thrown into a social situation, and you usually have this persona that you put on, this sort of person that your go-to, okay, your go-to version of you that you feel is socially acceptable and someone who everybody can easily get along with, leave that behind, leave that at home, be yourself, be authentic, because people are going to love you for that, and you're going to be really surprised, okay? People are going to love you for who you truly are, even if that is quirky, even if that is weird, even if you like things that you feel a lot of people don't like. You'd be surprised at how many people love the same thing that you are into. In the lapis lazuli, I see that will give you sort of like an epiphany. It will bring you to a moment where you're like, wow, just being myself is a lot more fun than being somebody else. It is a lot more fun than being the toned down version of myself. So group number 4, if you've been toning it down, especially in relationships, okay, that is one thing that I feel within your reading instinctively, that you may be toning it down in romantic relationships. You may not be able to fully immerse yourself in being you. You may not be able to fully embrace you. I see that you're going to have this aha moment where you're like, wow, being myself is so much more fun. And the people who matter love it. The people who don't matter, they're the only ones who don't like me being me, but that is not your problem. That is their problem. Then we have the Rado cross-eyed. So Be nice to yourself, be gentle with yourself. The Urado cross site is all about self-love. It's all about self-acceptance. Accept yourself for who you are, accept yourself for you in your truest form, and know that there is only one you in this world. There are billions of people, but there's only one you. And in this day and age, it can sound really cheesy to say, oh, I'm one of a kind, or I'm unique, because it almost feels like it's being overused, but you are unique. And be kind to yourself and know that you have abilities, you have a certain set of skills that is unique to you. You have a certain set of mental capacity that is only unique to you, and what you decide to do with it is up to you. But in the rose quartz, I see that what would be beneficial to you is to invest your capabilities into your love life, is to invest your capabilities into having the romantic love life that you've always desired. So if you, for instance, have always wanted a relationship that is committed, a marriage, or if you've always wanted to just take time to yourself and actually not commit to anybody, do this during Libra season. I see that it's time to let go of anything that has been holding you back, and that is exactly what I see in death, and that is what I fear has been lingering on in your life in death. The fact that there have been things that have been holding back your capabilities and that have been holding back your potential, especially in love. There is a lot within your reading that points towards love and relationships, and there's nothing going on here that is like really serious or detrimental. There's just signs within your reading pointing out the fact that you could be happier in your love life, you could be more fulfilled, and that it is in fact within your control. So last but not least, for the crystals, we have the kyanite. The kyanite urges you to make time for self-care. The kyanite urges you to take time to just be immersed in what makes you happy. So self-care is different for every single person. Self-care is different for you as it's different for me. I want you to know self-care for you can be going on a hike. Self-care for you can be painting. Self-care for you can be sleeping. I mean, I know that I always like a good rest when I can get it. So focus on making time for that, because self-care will allow you to remind yourself that you're worthy of being taken care of, and that will transcend through to your love life, to your emotional connections, and you will have this aura around you, this halo around you that just screams, I'm worthy, that just screams, I'm worthy of being loved and taken care of. So don't underestimate the power of self-care and the power of raising your vibration with self-care. So then we have the turkey spirit. I see that giving is something that you should focus on the delivery of how you give. You should focus on how you present yourself to other people when you're giving. That you have to focus on making sure that you do it in a certain way, that you do it happily, that you give people gracefully, so that they will remember. And I'm not saying, you know, remind them of all that you've done. I'm just saying do it in a graceful way that they will always remember what you did for them, what you gave up for them or gave to them, how much effort you put, and so that they will have you in good memory, that when you need them or you need a time out, people are not going to question it, and people are going to be there for you very happily, because it is just human nature to think to yourself, if you want to do something for someone else, you know, am I going to get a sort of service back? Has this person done something for me in the past before? And that then determines for a lot of people how much effort they're going to put into helping the person in question. So make sure that your effort is presented very gracefully, in a way that is kind, and in a way that is also kind of elegant, if you will. So moving further into your reading, we have the beaver spirit. So laying a solid foundation within your life is something that I want you to focus on during Libra season. I see that there is a tendency to maybe do things a little half-assed, group number 4. And I don't want to call you out. I don't want to say anything harsh, but maybe you haven't been doing things at your work, or just with the things that you've been working on in general, your projects, maybe you've not been paying so much attention to detail. And I just want to warn you, group number 4, that if you do not lay a solid foundation that will last for years or decades to come, depending on what it is that you're doing, then you may regret it, because that foundation can start to rot. Just like when you're building a house and you don't take the time and the effort to properly let things, processes go through all of the stages that they need to go through before you can continue on, then as I said, things can start to rot, things can start to break and move. And that wouldn't have had to happen if only during laying the foundation more attention to detail had been paid. So don't make that mistake. There's a reason why you're sitting here, why you're still listening, and it is all because the universe wants you to hear this for Libra season so that you will be cautious. So then we have the cow spirit. I want you to know within the cow spirit that there is a lot of opportunity during Libra season. There is a lot that you can go for. There is a lot that will present itself that you can make use of. And it's essential for you to know that your life is limitless, because sometimes we can be focused on one outcome and forget that there are so many other possibilities or so many ways to go from A to B. Therefore, since you did have the cow spirit in your reading, I feel like you just need to hear one more time that your life is limitless. Your potential is grand, it is big, and you have a lot of power and control within your life to steer yourself in the direction that you've always wanted to go in. Then in the bee spirit, I want you to know though that it will take a lot of hard work. It will take dedication. It will take you maybe working long hours, late nights, doing all-nighters, but sweet results will await at the end of it. I want you to know that this is all for the most beneficial outcome for your life. Libra season, if it is stressful, if you do end up just focusing on creating more miracles for yourself, will be a handful of work, but this work is going to really teach you that hard work pays off. This work is going to be here for a lifetime to come. Like I said, learning to lay a solid foundation is key, or coming back to laying solid foundations here is key, in order to not regret in your life, in order to make sure that you know that you always put in the best and most effort that you could. Last but not least, we have the mouse spirit. So group number 4, tending to the little things is one thing that I want you to focus on, last but not least, during Libra season. There are a lot of little details here within laying this solid foundation that you can pay attention to that will make a big difference later down the line. Allow yourself to do so. Allow yourself to look at the little things, dissect the little details, and don't feel crazy because you're doing that. Don't let anybody tell you that, you just need to chill and things are just going to work out. Pay attention to your building process, pay attention to your foundation laying process, and look at every single detail. And if there are other people involved with your work and you want them to get every single detail right, and you usually feel like you're getting on their nerves by telling them to redo it or to look over it again or to really perfect it, don't feel that way, group number 4. Don't feel like you're getting on anybody's nerves. It is essential for you during Libra season to focus on the quality of your work, even if other people do not agree. I see that that is what you must do. So group number 4, keep your eye on the prize and focus on quality over quantity during Libra season. I truly hope that you enjoyed your reading, group number 4. I hope that you found it insightful, inspirational, maybe motivational, and I will see you in one of my upcoming readings.